So we are done with the conditional structures. Now let's move to iterative constructs. So iterative constructs are of three types. There are four types. I'll tell you the fourth type also. First one is the for loop. Second one is while. Third one is do while. And the fourth and the new one is for each loop. We'll discuss for each loop a little later. Let's start with the for loop. So three types. First one is for loop. Second is while. And third one is do while. The fourth one also available, that is called as for each loop. I'll tell you what is for each loop, but let's begin with the for loop. So the syntax for loop. Initialization, condition, and iteration. No problem. And then the statement. So there can be a number of statements here. No problem. Now let's understand how a for loop works. First of all, it is initialization, the first step. First step is initialization and it happens only once. Second is condition. The control moves from the first step to the second step. The second step is condition check. If condition is true, then and only then it will move to the statement, which is step number 3. This is very important to understand. Firstly the initialization, then the condition, then statement. Statement executes and then it moves to iteration, which is the fourth step. Here, your variable takes the iteration, either negative iteration or the positive, which you can say increment or decrement. And then again the condition is rechecked. If it is true, again the statement will run. If it is false, the loop will terminate. So let's consider an example. Let's print first 5 numbers using a for loop. So this is your example. So for int I equals to 0, where I is less than equal to 5, I plus plus, and what you can write it, system dot out dot println I. So now what will happen? This loop will print 6 numbers, no problems. So firstly I is 0, I is less than 5. Is 0 less than 5? Yes, true. So it will go down. And the first output you will get will be 0. It will go up and increment. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Now is 1 less than 5? Yes, true. It will again print the statement. So 1 will be printed. It will again go up. So now the I will be 2. So 2 is less than 5 or less than equal to 5? Yes. So 2 will be printed. Same, 3 will be printed, 4 will be printed, and at last when 5 is less than equal to 5, yes, it is also true. So 5 will also be printed. But at last when I will be 6, so is 6 less than equal to 5? No, this is false. So when condition is false, the loop will terminate and finally you will have this as your output. So I hope you have understood the normal simple working of a for loop. Let's move to while loop. So it is initialization, while, condition, statement, iteration, and end of while. So it is same like for loop, but now you can see all 4 parts are like disintegrated. First of all initialization, then condition check, then statement, and then iteration. So basically you have just disintegrated the for loop and you have created your while loop. Let's take an example. Same example, you want to print first 5 numbers or 0 to 5 or 1 to 5, hardly matters. So let's say int I equals to 1 while I is less than equal to 5. What you can do is system dot out dot println I and I plus plus. here. So what will happen in this case? It will start from 1. Initialization will happen only once. So 1 is less than 5, true. So 1 is less than 5, true. So output will be 1. I plus plus means 1 will be now converted to 2. So 2 is less than 5, true. 3 is less than 5, true. 4 is less than 5, true. 5 is less than equal to 5, true. So it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when i's value will be 6, 6 is less than 5, false. So at this point, the loop will terminate. So this is the simplest working of while loop. In the next section, we'll talk about difference between while and do while, which is very important to understand. Let's move there. In this video, we'll contrast while loop with a do while. Now let's see what is the syntax of do while. So it is initialization, do, statement, iteration, close, and then while, condition, and a termination. This termination operator is very important here, so please note it. It is the only loop which contains termination operator at last. So it is do while. Things are same, but the only difference here is that there is no condition check in the beginning. The first statement will run as it is. So let's suppose if you have written 4 things as a menu, it will run for once. But in case of while, it is checking the condition first, then only allowing the statements to execute. So in case of while, it is the checking is at entry. So it is entry check loop. It is called as entry check loop. While do while is exit check loop. So when the statements are done, then the condition is checked. So we can say that in case of do while, your statement runs once. So in case of do while, we can say that statements will run for once at least. So let's see one example on while and do while. So the example for do while. So it is initialization first. So int I equals to, let's say 2. Do SOP I plus plus while I is less than equal to 5. So in this case, let's see what happens. I is 2. Straight away there is no condition checking. Straight away 2 is printed. So in output, what you will get? First output you will get as 2. I plus plus. So i's value is incremented. So now 2 plus 1 is 3. So is 3 less than 5? Yes. So 3 is output. Now it is incremented. So 3 plus 1, 4. 4 is less than 5. True. So now again 4 will be printed. 5 is less than equal to 5. True. 5 will be printed. But now i's value is 6. 6 is less than equal to 5. False. So the loop will terminate and you will get this as. Now let's see another case in this example. Let's suppose my I value is 10 here. Now what will happen? What will be the output? So as you can see, I value is 10. It will be directly printed for once. So output will be 10 without checking the condition. So when the condition will be checked, then it will terminate. But you will be having 10 as an output even if the condition is false. So now what is the use of such statements where condition is not being checked? These type of loops will be used. Do while will be used in case where you want to create a menu for the user. Like press 1 to do this, press 2 to do this. So we'll do such programs in detail. So after do while, it is for each loop. For each loop is a loop which works on a collection. So simplest type of collection can be an array. So when we'll discuss array, we'll discuss for each loop. So in this video, we are going to talk about iterative constructs or the looping constructs. So the first one is for loop. So this is the syntax for loop where you have initialization, then condition, then iteration, and then set of statements. So now how it operates? The first one is initialization. It happens only once. Then the particular condition is checked. If the condition is true, then the control moves to the set of statements. This is the third step. Set of statements is the third step, and then the control moves to the iteration. So it can be negative or positive, it depends on the situation. Let's take one example where we try to print a table for a particular number. So let's see. So let's consider a class. Let's assume a number, let it be 7, and define a variable I. For I equals to 1 and I less than equal to 10. Let's say you want to print the table till 10 only. So what you can do, system.out.println A into I. So this is the simplest program for understanding for loop. Now you can see easily, I will iterate from 1 to 10. First of all, I value will be 1. 1 is less than 10. The condition is true. It will go down to the set of statements. There is only one statement right now. So A, what is value of A? 7. 7 into what is current value of I is 1. So 7 into 1, 7 will be printed. And then the control moves to this iteration. So I value will be 2 now. So now it will be checked again. So 2 is less than 10. Again true. So it will go down. 7 into 2. So 14 will be printed. One thing to remember is that I equals to 1. Initialization happens only once. It will not happen again. It will only happen once in the loop. Right? So on. At last, when I will be 10, 10 is less than equal to 10. True. And 10 into 7 will be 70. When I will be 11, this loop will terminate. So the termination point of this loop will be I equals to 11. This is very important to understand that you have to keep two things in mind, that how to begin the loop and how to end the loop also. You must take care how to terminate the loop, right? So let's see its output. Let's save the file as table.java. So Java C table.java. It's compiling, done. Java table. So here you can see the table of 7. To make it more informative or let's say graphically good, what you can do, you can say A plus into as a constant and then I equals to as a constant and then the answer. Now I'll save this one and I'll just recompile and run. Just do CLS so that you can have a better view. So 7 1s are 7, 7 2s are 14 and so on. You can always use scanner class to input A and you can print the table of your desired number till any range, right? So this is the for loop. Let's continue iterative constructs. Let's move to while loop. So this is the syntax for while loop. As you can compare with for loop syntax also, this whole thing is just divided into subparts, like initialization first and then while condition. So the condition is checked first and then set of statements will run and then the particular iteration. So let's consider the same example that how to print a table of a number using now while loop. So let's say class test while public static void main. So int a equals to let's say 19 and I. Okay. So I equals to 1, that is initialization, while I is less than equal to 10, that is the condition. And what you want to print? System.out.println. First of all, you want to print A plus. Why I'm putting these quotes? Because I want this star to be printed in my output. I don't want this multiplication operator here. So I want to print this star. So I want to print like 19 into 1. So that is why I'm putting into quotes. I want to concatenate it with I, then equals to, and then A into I. So this will be 19 into 1 equals to 19. So next will be 19 into 2 equals to 38. So it will go like this. So next step will be I plus plus, and while close, main close, and class close. Save it as test_while.java and CLS java c test_while.java. It is compiled successfully. Now run this file, test while. So as you can see, 19 ones are 19 and the whole table is printed here. So 19 tens are 190. So as you can see, while loop is almost same as for loop, but here initialization happens out of the loop in the first process and is not repeated again. So this is the while loop in which I first value will be 1 and the last value will be 10. Again the termination point will be I equals to 11. So now let's move to do while. So in case of do while, syntax will be initialization, do, statements, then iteration, and then while condition. And there is a semicolon after the condition. So this is the syntax for do while, where we have initialization, where we have do, statement, and iteration. So what is the difference between while and do while? The only difference you can see here is that in while it is a entry check loop. Entry check loop. Consider one scenario. Consider that you are going to a restaurant and a movie theater. So in movie theater you have to get a ticket first to get into the theater. So that is like while condition. That is normal while loop, where the condition is checked first. Your ticket will be checked and then you are allowed to enter into the movie hall. But do while is like a restaurant, where you can go in first, have your meals and all, and then you have to pay the bill while you exit out of the restaurant. So basically do while is a type of exit check loop and while is a entry check loop. And that is the only reason that in case of do while, statement will run at least once. This you have to remember, set of statements will run at least once, because the condition is getting checked at last. And do while is always useful to create menu based programs. I'll tell you about menu based programs in the coming sections. Now let's take a quick look how to do a program on do while. So this is my while loop program, so I'll modify it with little changes. So test do while, and I'll just take it out of from here and put it here with a semicolon, and I'll put a do statement here. So this is the initialization, then do these set of statements. System.out.println a into I is equal to a into I. So it will be 19 into 1, that is 19. I plus plus, that will be I will be 2. Now this while will start checking I from 2. It will not check I from 1. That means the first condition is always running, no matter if the condition is false or true. First time the set of statements will work, right? So let's save it as test do while .java and let's run. So output is same, but let me now show you that. Let's suppose I am giving I equals to 10 here and I am putting I should be less than 5. So as you know, 10 is not less than 5, the condition is false, but still in this case I will run for the value 10. You will be getting one statement as an output even though your condition is false. So okay, so let's compile. Syntax wise is not wrong, and now you can see 19 into 10 is equal to 190. No matter this condition was false, but still this do has allowed the first statement, first iteration to execute. For I value 10, it is executing. So 19 into 10 is equal to 190, which is being printed as your output. You can see only one iteration. Second time it's not executing because the condition is false. So it will be more clear in menu based programs that what is the actual use of do while. So I hope you all have understood the basic iterative constructs. We'll talk about for each loop when we'll talk about arrays. Thank you so much.